Yeshua answered and said unto them, See to it that no one misleads you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and will mislead many. You will be hearing of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not frightened, for those things must take place. But that is not yet the end. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and in various places there will be famines and earthquakes. But all these things are merely the beginning of birth pangs. Hey folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. I'm not trying to take that bit of scripture there at Matthew 24 out of context in any way, because I, of course, don't exactly know that what is happening today around the world is exactly what was being foretold by Yeshua himself. But it does fit, it does line up, and I think it's worth taking note. Folks, this is maybe a controversial statement, and I suspect there'll be a lot of people that disagree with me, but we are at war. We're not talking about a possible war in the future. We are at war, and we're at many wars. There's a lot of wars going on right now. They may not all be the type of wars that bullets are flying, and they certainly aren't declared wars, but nonetheless, they are happening. I was sitting earlier and just kind of jotting down some wars that are going on right now. Again, I said the other day, the odds of us actually hearing an official declaration of war is unlikely. But there's also non-kinetic wars, non-conventional wars, cultural type wars that are going on. And it's all building. Of course, there's the war in Ukraine, and it's really a war between NATO and Russia. We'll get into that here in just a minute, but it's building, and it's growing and expanding. There's the war between China and the United States. This has been going on for a while as an economic war, as an industrial war, as a technological war. But it seems to be building into a real kinetic conventional war. And we'll get into that one here in just a minute. And then there's the war between North and South Korea. I mean, it never actually ended. It's just a ceasefire agreement is all it is. And there seems to be a lot of buildup in that area and this desire to reignite that war. There's the war between Iran and Israel. Iran today, they posted pictures of one of their big missiles, and on the side of the missile, in Hebrew, it said something like, to take out Israel, or this one's for Israel, something like that, to destroy Israel. There is definitely buildup in that area with Israel recently striking targets within Iran. There's just the war here in the United States between the left versus the right, and that really has become a real war. It is a cultural war because it's not something that, like before where people could, civilly debate if they were Republican or Democrat or conservative versus liberal. It's becoming an all-out war, and there's violence happening because of that. There's the gender war. Gender ideology, the transgender ideology, all of that kind of stuff. There's the race war. That's becoming quite violent here in the United States. I mean, you can't deny that. Life versus abortion. That's becoming a real war. Did you see that, even though I'm sure many of you didn't watch, but like myself, but a lot of the pro-abortion, pro-death Congress people yesterday at the State of the Union, instead of wearing an American flag on their lapel, they were wearing this pin that said abortion with a heart. That's building up. Globalist versus nationalist. That's a war. A lot of this conflict that we're seeing is due to that. So we're seeing that. The U.S. dollar versus the BRICS, that is a war that's building. I was seeing just in the last few days, several countries have signed on or pledging their commitment or involvement in creating a BRICS currency that's going to go up against the U.S. dollar. That's a war. Bullets may not fly from that war, but there will definitely be a path of destruction as that one builds. Family values versus the worldly inclusion. That's a war going on right now, and that's been going on for a long time. Where they're trying to absolutely destroy family values. They don't want that. They don't want that family union because they know that next to your relationship with God, Father, the Creator, that connectiveness within your family is probably the next most important thing, and they want to destroy that. Bible truths versus Satan's lies. I mean, if any of you watched that little clip from the Grammys the other night, it's showing that this admiration and worship of Satan is becoming a real deal, and even people that don't even consciously know that they're doing it, evilness, wickedness, satanic, demonic, all of that. It's becoming pervasive in a way that we've really never seen in our society. And then righteousness versus self-indulgence. I talked about this the other day, of how people are just so self-absorbed. They're not even trying to be good anymore. In fact, it's not popular to be good. It's popular to be, all about the self. It's the internet and the social media is and all of these weird genders and pronouns, and it's all about self. They're lovers of self. Their hearts have grown cold, and there's lovers of self. Folks, we are at a lot of wars right now, and the physical wars, the wars that are going to directly affect us, are building. In case you probably haven't heard, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but China, they are issuing a conscription, a draft. They are trying to build up over 1 million soldiers in that country, and this is something never heard of before. They're doing this all of a sudden. Why? Why would a country be doing that? Russia's been doing this also. They're trying to come up with somewhere between 700,000 and 1 million soldiers over there. Came out in the news in the last 24 hours with the British Times, the UK Times, that a reporter is claiming that he has evidence that the United States was the one, the CIA and the United States was the one that directly involved in destroying the Nord Stream pipeline. Of course, that's got Russia all upset, and can you blame them? I mean, they spent billions, what was it, $5 billion, $10 billion in building that pipeline, only to be destroyed by the United States. If that is true, that is definitely an act of war. And so there's building of that. Zelensky, he went to, he's in the United Kingdom today. It looks like he's making a little tour across Europe, trying to drum up more support, more weapons. Met with the king in England and spoke before Parliament. And they've pretty much said that they're going to give him planes, fighter jets. Prime Minister of England has said that they're going to do everything they can and figure out how to make it work to give him fighter jets. There's reports that Ukrainians are already training in the United Kingdom to be pilots in fighter jets. The UK has already also pledged long-range missiles. Russia has threatened that this is a major escalation of war. And we all know this, the pledge to send all these tanks. Germany's sending even more tanks now. Originally it was a few dozen. Then I heard it was 130. And then the last report that I saw is now it's up to 168 tanks that they're sending over to Ukraine. A lot of those have already arrived. The United States is sending another $10 billion in HIMARS and other artillery. On top of all the other, stuff that we've sent there. There is this global buildup. I hate to echo his words because he's not someone that I ever follow, and that's the current Pope. But when he said the other day that the whole world is headed for war, it could have been one of the most honest things and truthful things that he said. It is. The whole world is headed for a war. And folks, we've got to be serious. We've got to be getting ready. We've got to be taking this very serious because there's just been so many things happen, even in just recent times in the last few days, this possibility, the rumors and the possibility of an increased DEFCON level, the whole balloon thing flying over and China pledging to retaliate, the buildup of their troops, the things going on with Russia and Ukraine, and the Ukraine believes that Russia is getting ready to make a major strike against them within the next 10 days, they say. This is all happening. It's all happening very rapidly. And I think just because the way the news media works and social media works and the way modern people are they're kind of moving from this to that to this to that, we miss all that. Folks, I am fully convinced we are already at war. The world is already at war. There are many things going on, and all of them are either currently or leading us down the path of war, whether it's with bullets and guns or whether it's through ideology and other forms of violence. We have to take a stand, and we have to get ourselves ready. Get prepared. Get your homes prepared. Stock up. One of the things that you can do that my family and I does is we buy lots of seeds. I'm kind of a seed freak, and we like to buy from True Leaf Market. This is our absolute favorite company to buy seeds from. There's a link down in the description below. They sell some really high quality seeds. I love their packaging, as you can tell, and you can buy bulk in just about everything they sell. So I would do that to make sure that you have a good seed supply, because once things really start spiraling out of control, seeds are going to start becoming pretty valuable in short supply, like with many other things: ammunition, certain types of food, fuel, tires for your car. Those kind of things, they're going to dry up pretty quick, because they're all going to go towards the war effort, or people are just going to be panicking and buying them all. I predict, and I'm not much for predicting, but if this all gets really going soon, what we saw 3 years ago with the whole, initial panic of the pandemic is probably going to be nothing compared to what we're seeing. It's all over the board, and I don't want to be the doomsdayer. I don't want to be the sky is falling, it's scary guy. I'm just trying to get people to wake up and see things are looking rough, and it's globally. Earthquakes, famines, wars, rumors of wars, the whole moral degradation of our society, the collapse of family, the collapse of just people doing good and being good. It's happening everywhere. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and to prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.